Okay, so here's our hole. We just installed a new dryer vent duct. That's the old one. I'm gonna go ahead and patch it out. Alright, so I had this piece of drywall laying around on the front. And the reason you notice front because the back of them typically have this gray or brown paper. The front of them have more of a bluish or purplish paper. So this is the front. So the front of it, we want to make the shape of a hole you're trying to fill plus 1 inch on each side. So in this case, I'll remove this piece from there. If you put it down, you see how I have an extra inch going all the way around. So if you're doing a square, same thing. We need an extra inch on either side of the square or whatever shape you're trying to patch. Right, so in this step, I just took my knife and went ahead and scored the shape of my patch all the way around. Round patch is a little bit harder than the square, just because you gotta keep sinking the knife in there. If there's a straight line, you can get a straight edge or ruler. Just score it straight a couple times and then just break it. This one, the round shape, after you physically sink the knife in until the whole thing just falls apart. So I went ahead and kept scoring all the way until the blade penetrated the entire sheet of drywall. These are just taken apart. This is what we got to work with right here. So next step, we're just going to flip it to the back side. And here we're going to mark the exact size of our hole. So in this case, it's a round size. I'm going to take this old vent duct and trace it all the way around. So now what I got to do is basically the same thing I did on the other side. I'm going to score all the way around this line, but the goal is to not penetrate the good side, the front side. So I'm going to score the best I can and then get rid of this 1 inch perimeter to make sort of a band-aid for the wall. The best way to do that is get a ruler or any kind of straight edge, line it up just to the edge of your mark, of your actual patch mark, and then score a couple times, and then what you can do, you just break it off. And this part is tricky to do with one hand. I'm going to try it. I'm just going to sort of peel it off the front like that. You want to leave the front, the good paper, intact. I'm going to keep doing that same step all the way around until I have nothing but perfect circle left with this side paper completely intact. Alright, here's what we got. So I cut all the way around. This is the back of the drywall. This right here is the front. This will be a perfect band-aid, so I'm going to go and see how it fits into that hole. And then hopefully it's a perfect fit. That's our patch right there. Fits perfectly. Now what we're going to do is get some mud, peel back the edges, and put a generous amount of mud all the way around. And then use a putty knife or a trowel, whatever you have, to smooth it out, kind of flake it out. This is the stuff I like to use. It's pretty user-friendly. It's not too stiff, it's kind of smooth, like butter. Basically what we're going to do, I'm trying to film here with one hand, is peel back the edges and feed this stuff into in between the paper and the wall. It's gonna look like a sloppy mess, kind of like that. Whoops. Went all the way around and put all the mud behind this front piece of paper. Can you see it? Okay, so all we're gonna do now is we're gonna squeeze it out like that. Just go all the way around and just sort of squeeze it out. So pressing in firmly and trying to squeeze out any excess mud from behind the paper. And that in turn glues that paper to the wall. Just something like that. You're not trying to make it look pretty right now. This is a rough patch. So yeah, you have to do this in 2 goes. First one's gonna be rough, and then the second one will be the finishing touch. Just grab as much of the excess as you can. But once again, I'm not trying to make it perfect. Not this time. Something like that. Let it dry, and I'll go to step 2. Okay, here's what it looks like dry. We're ready for a second coat. Here we go. Alright, second coat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to apply a thick coat of this plaster on the entire patch and past it. So not just stopping at the patch wherever it ends, but we're going to go and feather it out past the patch.
Hi.
Hi. You saying hello?
Daddy.
It should look something like that. Just kind of feathered out way past the patch. And then this next step, so even though this part's going to be hidden from view, this is where my dryer is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and try to match the swirls a little bit to make it blend in a little bit better. And typically this part is done with a sponge, like a wet sponge. Each one of these texture marks, that's a sponge being used. Well, I have a sponge and I don't feel like going out and buying it, so what I'm going to do is what's laying around the house, this blue broom. So I'm just going to try to match the swirls. I'm going to start somewhere towards the bottom, somewhere over here, something like that, and something like that. Yeah. There we go. I don't know if you guys can really see that. It just gives it that textured look, sort of matching the wall. And it's obviously not something you want to do for a large area. For that, you want to hire a professional, but something for a little patch like this, you can do it yourself. It's really easy. And then do the best you can with either broom or a little foxtail like this one, and kind of match the swirl. And once this is all dry, paint over it, and you'll never know the difference. You can do this.